today we are discussing Arudra Nakshatra or Ardra Nakshatra as it is called contemporarily. Now, Ardra is known as the star of oppression or the star of sorrow. Okay, now it is tamasic in nature. Okay, I've explained to you the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, and it is the gana is Manushya. There are again three ganas, Deva Gana, Manushya Gana or Rakshasa Gana. Okay, and if a particular nakshatra is Manushya Gana, then it means that they are concerned with the human condition. They're concerned with humanity and its trials and tribulations, activism, and all of that, right? Now, the meaning of Arudra, which is Ardra, okay, the pronunciations are extremely important in Vedic astrology. For if you do not pronounce a particular nakshatra or a particular seed syllable correctly, then the whole meaning gets, sort of jumbled up. So, pronunciation of the Devanagari, enunciation of the alphabets is very important. So Ardra Nakshatra, and the meaning of Ardra is the moist one or the wet one, the storm, the hunt, the green, fresh, and freshness is something you immediately associate to Ardra Nakshatra. Freshness, okay, in everything. Om Aim is the seed mantra. Om Aim. Okay. Now, it's also known as the wind and the storm. For Ardra is the storm. Okay. And the deity is Rudra. Okay. Which is one avatar or one version of Shiva, the Vedic version of Shiva, that is about crying and howling, and of course it's known as the star of sorrow, star of oppression. So Om Aim is the seed mantra, Rudra is the ruler, Rahu is the planetary dispositor, and Arudra is of the element water. Okay, water element. Now the symbol is a human head or a teardrop. The asterism actually looks like a human head. Okay, so there's a very interesting story about this, that Rudra actually severed one of the 5 heads of Brahma, and one of the heads emanated as a female whose name was Shatarupa. So Rudra destroyed that head because of Brahma's obsession with his daughter, so Rudra thought that it was inappropriate, and this again speaks of the loss of ego. Okay, so Ardra natives from time and again will experience this loss of ego, right? It's a very spiritual energy, and it spans from about 640 to 20 of sidereal Gemini, also known as Methun Rashi. Okay. Now, as I said, the symbols are a human head and teardrop. Teardrop again cementing the signification of sorrow, misery, pain, and all of that. Okay. The dosha is Vata. So air imbalances, okay, so flatulence, maybe any kind of coughs. I'll get into the medical astrology in a bit. Now the animal totem is a female dog. Remember that, a black female dog. That's the signifier of Rahu. Each nakshatra has a Shakti. For instance, Rohini has a Rohana Shakti, which is about growing, producing. Okay, Ardra has Yatna Shakti. Yatna Shakti is power to make gains through sustained effort. So remember, the thing with Ardra is they have a lot of stress that comes to them, okay? They do function pretty well in high stress situations, but also sometimes you will see that the Ardra native is overwhelmed, okay? Because being overwhelmed is a part of this energy of Ardra, okay? But sustained effort must be there. Motivation is karma of the whole nakshatra. So desire, right? The desire to do something. It can be obvious or it can be latent depending upon the placements you have. Now, Rudra is the fierce form of, um, is one of the fierce forms or wrathful forms of Shiva, okay? And Rudra represents thunder. Ardra is the thunderstorm, okay? Ardra is the thunderstorm, and Rudra basically desired, may I become the lord of animals. And he became the lord of animals known as Pashupati. In Nepal, we have Lord Shiva established as Pashupatinath. Okay. Now, if one makes proper offerings to Ardra and to Rudra, then Rudra makes one the lord of animals. So oftentimes we see natives dealing with animals in some way. Exploitation, if it's afflicted, or rescue, because Ardra has cruelty, tremendous cruelty. Nathuram Godse, who killed Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhi, actually had, I think, his moon in Ardra. So the seed sound is ku, ka, na, and cha. I explained to you how a baby is named according to the seed syllable of its moon nakshatra. Okay, so that's very important. Ku, ka, na, and cha. Now, Arudra or Ardra brings forth all things wild, strange, and disturbing. And the native must learn to control these forces, okay? These wild and disturbing and, sort of really crazy things. The native ultimately must face this and must know how to curb this or how to control it, okay? Now, when you think of a thunder, a storm, okay, a storm is extremely dangerous, okay, dangerous to human life, dangerous to animals. So you think of thunder, you think of lightning, and lightning is extremely destructive, okay, and you think of them being fierce, okay, fierce emanations of Mother Nature. So the thunderous aspect in Ardra can make the native violent, okay, and the energy of this particular nakshatra is tikna or tibra, which leads to destructive acts if not curbed or controlled. So destruction is a part of Ardra's energy. Okay, this is the initiation of Rahu's energy, and we know Rahu works subversively. Okay. Now, Brahma basically blessed Ardra, this nakshatra, to have undefeatable power. So, there's this reservoir of tremendous power that we see in Ardra. So, power can be used for creation, power can also be used for destruction. So, that's what the native always needs to remember. When the sun enters Ardra, we Hindus observe Ambubachi. Okay, Ambubachi is basically the time of Mother Earth's menstruation. Okay, so during Ambubachi, for those 3 days or 7 days, we do not dig, we do not excavate the land. Right? So that is Ambubachi. As the sun enters Ardra, we have Ambubachi. Rudra is Shiva, who is in Rodan, which is the crying form, or Garjan, which is the howling form of Shiva. So, already Shiva has this very ferocious side when he starts the Tandav. So, in Ardra, there's a sort of Tandav that takes place where Shiva is, or Rudra, is crying, is howling. So, the teardrops also very significant. The teardrops of Shiva actually became Rudrakshas. So that's another story altogether. Now Rudra is Ardhanareshwar. Okay, the amalgamation of the male and the female. He's Ardhanarishwar. Rudra at a time ripped himself into 11 Rudras and 11 Rudranis. So we see the number 11 is very important for Ardra natives. 11. 11 also looks like a coupling or two. Again, reminds us of the two twins of Gemini, because this is, after all, inside real Gemini, ruled by Mercury, right? The dispositor of, or a planetary friend of this nakshatra is Rahu. So this is a blend of Rahu and Mercury, right? Now, this asterism strongly connects to this Gemini duality, right? You can look at 11 like this. It's a 2. So this asterism speaks of this Gemini duality, okay? And Ardra natives give their all, okay? The well-balanced natives, they give their all, but oftentimes are not recognized as they should be. Tesla, or Nikola Tesla, had his Saturn in Ardra in the 4th house. And we see how Tesla's life went with all his inventions that was so beyond the scope of human understanding at that point, right? And everybody went with Edison. And Tesla spent the remaining of his life dejected, and he died pretty much with nothing in a New York hotel. So this is the energy of Ardra, and Saturn in the 4th is hard, and Saturn in Ardra is hard, okay? It's an amalgamation of Rahu, Saturn, and Mercury, okay? It can be very complicated. Rudra brings forth pain, suffering, misery, oppression, persecution, anger, ferocity, and terrible sound. Garjan, okay, Garjan is howling. A Rodan is crying, right? So this is howling and crying component. Natives do howl and cry, Ardra natives. Now, Ardra is cruel, but full of feelings. Okay, many people think that they don't have feelings, but they do. They may not voice them, or they voice them as anger. Wet, damp, moist. Also tender at times. Ardra can be very tender. The energy can melt, press, squeeze, crush, or smash. Okay, now energy is very overwhelming, destructive, greedy, and terrible. Now, northeast is the region of Ardra Nakshatra. Parts of the body, hair, part of the head covered by the hair, and the skull. Okay. Now, natives can also be soft, stable, sacrificial, afflicted by sickness, many relatives who cause woe. So the Ardra native often finds himself or herself having to deal with many relatives, okay? And this can of course get a bit too much, no matter how loving, giving they can be, but they're always giving but not getting the recognition. But they have to continue giving because these demands are oppressive, overwhelming, okay? These demands. Gives ill advice. So Ardra natives oftentimes, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly give bad advice. So that's something to be careful about. That Mercurial and the mixture of Rahu can be quite diabolical and a hater of all. So oftentimes the Ardra native finds himself or herself unable to mix with society. They always feel like, overwhelmed or oppressed or, in some way dejected or rejected. Either they reject or they are rejected. Rahu gives strong career in politics. So many politicians have Ardra prominence, okay, and diplomacy, and they have high-ranking friends. So they always mix with people who are of a higher rank than themselves, right? Natives do suffer from black magic. Curses, they believe they do. And it's absolutely real to them. Okay, because Rahu is associated to sorcery. And some of the darkest magicians have prominent Ardra signatures. Okay? They do suffer from curses, like I said, dark magic, heart troubles, paralysis, and stress related issues. Okay? Now, Rahu gives an interest in taboo subjects like astrology, metaphysics, occultism, witchcraft, cults. Skin ailments can happen. Ardra natives often find themselves having skin ailments, skin problems. Execution. Many Ardra natives are executioners in some way. The Ardra also deals with epidemics, right? So it's quite a diabolical energy, Ardra Nakshatra. It's quite a diabolical energy, and it drives one towards revolution, subversion, which is Rahu, treachery, hidden aspects of things, drugs, secret societies. In fact, many cults and secret societies, Ardra natives have an inherent liking or interest towards secret societies. Secret affairs, of course. Crazy inventions. They do crazy inventions. Ardra natives, Nikola Tesla, Saturn in the 4th house, Ardra. So, of course, they're way ahead of their times, way ahead of their times. They deal with, secrets of all kinds, mysteries, signs, secret affairs, nefarious sexual appetites. Okay? So, they don't like plain and simple copulation. It's for them, it's always intricate, complicated, dark, subversive. Okay, so role playing, but keeping all of these things in mind. Astronomy. Let's talk about astronomy. There are two primary stars when you speak of Ardra Nakshatra. There's actually only one, Betelgeuse, which is also known as Alpha Orionis, on the shoulder of Orion. And the second star is Alhena, known as Gamma Geminorum. Now we know Betelgeuse is actually gained a lot of importance in modern contemporary mythology of H.P. Lovecraft, because the elders in the tales of Cthulhu mythos, it is the home of the elder gods. Betelgeuse, or Alpha Orionis, on the shoulder of Orion. Okay, and this is according to Lovecraft, where the elders came from, the gods, the wise beings of infinite cosmic powers who once dwelt on earth, ages before humanity. So we see how Betelgeuse, how Lovecraft associated Betelgeuse to be the home of the elderly gods, Arudra. Okay, read the Cthulhu mythos and you will see Betelgeuse is very, very interesting, right? Very, very interesting. It's a star. It looks also very interesting, and it sometimes disappears. Now, so Ardra also has quite crazy associations with quite a lot of crazy things, actually. So the root word is rud, which means to cry and to howl. Okay, so to cry and to howl. We see how the natives also literally in some way, whether it be revolution, whether it be subversion, there's always this energy of crying and howling. Okay, now now we come to a lot of relatives, and there's always complications because of relatives. So we spoke about the two primary stars, Betelgeuse, Alpha Orionis, and Alhena Gamma Geminorum. Gamma Geminorum. Okay, now interestingly, the Mohammedans or the Muslims are linked to this nakshatra. The ancient Vedic astrologers linked the Mohammedans to this nakshatra. It also signifies the paternal grandfather as well as the maternal grandmother. And it also deals with highly poisonous snakes. So snake bites is possible if you're an Ardra native. Also succumbing to any epidemic. Also some of the significations is burial grounds. So people who dispose of the corpses, they could be Ardra natives. Also people who work with corpses, okay? Connection to widows. Oftentimes we see Ardra natives getting married to widows. Okay, very, very interesting. Some of them are stone masons because they like to work with stone. Accidents could happen. Okay, thunder, of course, you understand. Ardra is the storm, so it's obvious that accidents could happen. The thing with Ardra natives is they more than not leave the place of residence, their childhood home, always, and they go to a foreign place and they make money in a foreign place. Okay, they literally create a whole new environment for themselves in this foreign place, rejecting or being rejected by their birth people and the birthplace. Okay, even if it's just in their head, literally. Natives can faint. Okay, they can faint. They're also bilious, so prone to vomiting. They, as I said, they oftentimes who reject the birth family, reject the birthplace, right? Also religion. Religion can be a sore topic for these people. So sometimes you see Ardra natives rejecting their religion, conversions also. Some of the Ardra natives like to convert to other religions. So either being rejected by one's religious community or rejecting one's religious community. Seclusion in forests. We also see this with Satavisha, another nakshatra ruled by Rahu, which is my nakshatra. Seclusion in forests, serious encounters. So, something like with a wild animal, also Ardra is associated to wild animals. So, like a crazy encounter with a lion, a man went to take a selfie and got mauled by a lion. Okay, it'd be interesting to see his nakshatra. Ardra could be prominent there. So crazy things like this. Also police encounters. Many encounter specialists have their ascendant or their moon in Ardra nakshatra. Encounter specialists, okay, who take down the mafia, people like that. Okay, electromagnetism. They're very interested in it, and they also have this electrical energy. So if they suddenly touch something, they can get electrocuted. Oh, I feel electricity. Okay, that's Ardra. Parapsychology and psychology, of course, they can be amazing psychologists, and also parapsychology and more in the realm of the mysterious, ghosts and paranormal ghost hunting and all of that. Hypnotism, they're very good hypnotherapists. Okay, very good hypnotherapists if they apply themselves to it. And they can even get hypnotized easily. Now, Rahu is associated to Lord Varaha. Varaha Mihira amongst the Dashavatars, Varaha. Okay, and Varaha avatar is the boar avatar. Okay, who went all the way down under this crazy cosmic ocean to retrieve Dharitri or the earth. Now Rahu is also known as Chandala. So Ardra also deals with outcasts. I said crematoriums and all of that. So Chandala is someone who disposes of the corpses. So Rahu deals with all these kinds of people who are outcasts. Ardra brings out Rahu's mercurial side. Okay, his mercurial side. So natives can be intellectual as well as very communicative and very good speakers if they apply themselves, but very nervous, extremely stressed out, nervous energy. anxious all the time. Gemini, there's something about Mithun Rashi, Gemini, it's always anxious, right? But very witty, quick thoughts, quick responses. So, good orators. Intellectualism is multifaceted, very eclectic intellectualism. Oh, I am just a PhD in biology and that's all I know. No. The Ardra native will know about all these things that I just spoke about, possibly in detail, if not on the surface, okay? But they will know. They will know about many things. Eclectic choice of, the cerebral activity is eclectic. Best years of Ardra native, 32 to 42. So if you're an Ardra native and you are, beyond 42 and you're like, what, my best years are gone? Maybe not. But for a lot of Ardra natives, 32 to 42, those are just your golden years. So utilize them. Work with that 10-year time frame, Now, Ardra makes some murderers, afflicted Ardra natives, murderers. Nathuram Godse, who killed Gandhiji, okay? Liars, adulterers, problem makers, charmers, sorcerers, and well versed in dark arts. So in the Vedic text, it's written, very well versed in the act of resurrection of goblins. Okay, but many new people, new sorcerers will get into necromancy if needed. So they're not afraid of all these kinds of things. Burial ground, again, and as I say, very strong Rahu. Hope it's not afflicted. Now, the text Varahamihira says that moon's placement here makes one ungrateful, wicked, violent, and proud. So, there are quite difficult significations that the native must work through. Another text called the Dhruvanadi says, killing, lying, seeking other women, thieving, animal handlers, backbiters, causes discord amongst friends, chants evil mantras, ostracizing ghosts and devils. So again, exorcism, ghost, devil, spirits, all of these are signifiers of Ardra Nakshatra. Another text, Muhurta Chintamani says, psychological cleansing, exorcism, harsh actions like surgery. Rahu also moves with surgical precision. So a well-balanced Ardra native will use his words with surgical precision. And his skill sets he will display also with surgical precision. It's Tikna energy, remember. So it's sharp, it's penetrative. Now, very good here would be to propitiate Lord Hanuman. You can listen to Hanuman Kavacham on YT. And the Hanuman also is considered to be the higher dimensional 11th Rudra of the Ekadasha Rudras. He's the highest 11th dimension Rudra, Lord Hanuman. So listening to Hanuman Kavacham will actually help these natives. Now let's come to the padas. Again, each nakshatra is broken up into 4 padas. And Ardra again is broken up into Sagittarius Navamsa, Capricorn Navamsa, Aquarius Navamsa, and Pisces Navamsa. So Sagittarius Navamsa is ruled by Jupiter. No planet is exalted here. No planet is debilitated here. Capricorn Navamsa, we have Mars exalted. Okay, we have Mars exalted. We have the moon debilitated here. Aquarius again, Saturn ruled Navamsa. So we see Saturni energy seeping through with these 2 Navamsas. You have to, when you study a nakshatra, you have to keep the Navamsa rulers in mind. Now again, nobody is exalted, nobody is debilitated. Now moving to Pisces, Venus is exalted in Pisces, right? Venus is exalted in Pisces. So if you have that Venus in that Pisces Navamsa, depending of course the time of the chart and many other things, it could be a well-balanced Venus. Although that Venus is mingling with that Rahu and that Mercury. Natives look very varied. Okay, you can't say, okay, Ardra native is going to be short or tall or thin, or you can't say that, because all types of natives exist in this particular nakshatra, all types of natives, but they all have a very hard married life. Marriage is not easy. If they have an early marriage, then they tend to move away from where their spouses, because of maybe work or because of maybe family problems. They don't live together. And later on, if you are an Ardra native, I suggest you marry later on in life. Okay, seriously, 35 to 37, not before that. This energy, the howling, the crying energy needs grounding, which is not easy when you're really young. 32 to 42, I said, are the golden years. So within, 35, 37 should be the time an Ardra native gets married. Prone to asthma, eosinophilia, again all kinds of throat problems, dry cough, ear trouble, scanty hair, and dental problems. Ardra natives tend to have many different kinds of dental problems. Either they have, that buck teeth, or they don't have, proper alignment, or they have developed tremendous amounts of, cavities, and, somehow they tend to have dental problems. Especially go to that Capricorn and that Aquarius Navamsa. It can be hard. Now, in some female natives, there can be possibility of two moms or two dads. So again, separation of the family, and then father marrying again, or mother marrying again. Very interestingly, Ardra, when sun moves into Ardra, we have Ambubachi, which we consider to be the time when the earth is menstruating. However, the ancients believed that if a female had a first periods in this nakshatra, then she would have defective sex organs, okay, and can birth dead children. So miscarriages, rainbow babies, all of that is possible. And also immoral sex life. So there could be, many lovers, or lying and cheating, or, stuff like that, adultery, philandering. Females will have menstrual issues, especially moon in Ardra. Menstrual issues, spoilt blood. So the quality of blood, again, can be compromised. Uterus troubles, bilious, I said, prone to vomiting. Also phlegmatic and can be afflicted with mumps. Rahu also signifies dreams and mental delinquency. So an afflicted Ardra native can be delinquent mentally. So the best thing to do is chant the Rahu Beach, which is Om Bhram Dream Braum Sah Rahuve Namaha. Om Bhram Dream Braum Sah Rahuve Namaha. Okay, 108 times, facing the northeast, which is the direction of this nakshatra. Om Bhram Bhreem Bhrom Sa Rahuve Namaha. Okay, remember this. Now the form of Ganesha associated to this nakshatra is Herambha Ganapati. Herambha Ganapati, the 11th Ganapati. Now remember, I told you how Rudra also split himself into 11 Rudris and 11 Rudras. So 11. And again, the Ganapati associated is the 11th Ganapati, Hirambha Ganapati. Natives work very well in high stress situations. They like to give, but they can be suicidal. Suicidal tendencies can exist in the Ardra native. Okay? Again, balance. Intense conflict can arise between child and parent. Okay, so family life we see is complicated, to say the least. Okay, and a choosing of the profession must be done with a lot of thought. Do not get married when the moon is in Ardra. For sure, do not get married when the moon is in Ardra, no matter what religion you come from. Okay, it's important. Now, like I told you, the fifth head of Brahma was severed by Rudra. This was the female deity known as Shatarupa that Brahma was obsessed with. And Rudra felt that, this head needed to be destroyed. So again, the severed human head is a motive of Rudra, which means severance of ego. Okay, severance of meanness. Look at me, it's me, I. So Ardra, through pain, through sorrow, through misery, Rudra will sever your head. Okay, this is the key. Not because Rudra is some kind of, sadist. It's because Rudra wants you to look beyond. And you are interested to look beyond because you're interested in the occult and metaphysics and all of these things. So the severance of the head is very important. Remember, Ardra natives, that in sometime in your life, that severance will happen. It doesn't have to be a literal severance of the head, but the severance of the ego, where you realize that you are not really all powerful. There are greater forces at play. Rahu gives this kind of power, right? So you feel that, you are all powerful. Who had their son in Ardra? Lady Diana. So she had a son in Ardra. Nathuram Godse had his moon in Ardra. Nikolai Tesla had his Saturn in Ardra. Three completely different personalities. But see how this howling and crying and pain and misery has been a part of all their lives. So if you are intelligent, you will allow Rudra, the ferocious, the wrathful emanation of Shiva, to sever that ego. But it really means nothing. Once you allow the severance of the ego, only then will you be able to see through the metaphysical, the occult eyes, or the third eye. So that was a bit about Ardra Nakshatra. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember Rahu's seed mantra, Om Bram Brim Brom Sa Rahuve Namaha. Om Bram Brim Brom Sa Rahuve Namaha. Okay, and one of the best remedies to correct Rahu, feed a black female dog. If you're an Ardra native, make sure you go out to the animal shelter and you adopt a black female dog. Can be a puppy. If she's full grown and an adult, even better. So thank you so much. Subscribe, like, comment, share, and see you next time with the next Nakshatra. Bye. Take care.